guys, thanks so much for tuning into the Domino Effect. I am so happy that you guys are here. I know I say that every single time, but you showing up, you being here means that you're serious about your business, you're serious about your vision, you know, and executing. And you're here because you want to grow, right? Even you want to grow to maybe 5 million, 10 million in revenue, 5, 10 million in sales, right? The goal is to get bigger, right? And that is super awesome because once you break that $10 million mark, right, it would be sky's the limit, right? Because then what's next, right? What's next? 12 million, 15 million, 30 million, right? But in order to get to that point and even beyond is you're going to need capital, right? So you have to work with non-bank lenders, and there's amazing non-bank lenders out there that are similar to banks, especially now, but you have to understand how to access them so that you can really grow and scale quickly and efficiently. So guys, if this information is helpful to you, please press that like button, subscribe to the channel, because that's how we're able to reach more people, right? The more subscribers you have, then YouTube pushes it out to more people. So I started my company, Domino Effects Group, because it's important. I know it's important to borrow money. It's an online marketplace. We provide innovative lending products, access to capital, private capital. We literally have a massive pool of private capital waiting to fund your business, right? On top of that, we work in conjunction with the Domino Effect. This show, it's a financial inclusion organization. We provide education, resources, tips, support, mentorship, networking, connection, and most importantly, access to capital, right? How to get into private equity, investment. So we connect you with all of the right resources. Matching founders to funders is exactly what we do. And helping small businesses grow, helping communities grow, and getting money back into communities so that we can create generational wealth. It's the domino effect. So guys, thank you so much for being here. The goal is to grow the company to 100 employees, right? And to drive 1 billion into the communities. Our partners have already delivered over 5 billion. So we need to continue to provide these resources. But what's super important is that you have to understand cash flow and money and how to use financing as a tool in your business to grow. And you're gonna need these lending relationships, right, as you grow. At some point, you may need some private equity, right? You may even think that you might need private equity now. I know that I thought that I needed private equity before I was even ready, right? And I was submitting and, of course, getting denied because I wasn't ready yet. So, depending on what your need is, make sure you're building relationships, right? So reach out no matter where you are to the local banks in your community, your regional bank, your local credit union, starting to build those lending relationships. If you're in real estate, you have to be thinking about these things because you might want something like a line of credit. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to grow my business. I know you're trying to grow your bit more people. You're trying to hire people. You're trying to, get more sales, or you might be where you're doing more sales, you're doing more revenue, and you're already hiring more people. And you're like, where's the money, right? But, the reality is sometimes businesses grow at a really, really quick rate. And because of that, they need access to capital even more, right? They're like, man, this is happening so fast, right? And I just have a client that happens all the time. I was working with a client and she got 50 contracts to go into the stores, 50 stores. I mean, all of a sudden, just boom, right? So now she needs some capital to get that up and going. So, maybe you're doing jobs, you're laying out money, but you're not getting paid for 30, 60, 90 days. If your business is like that, then you really need to understand your cash flow cycles, and you need a lender that can support those gaps. Because if you don't fill those gaps, then you're going to run into a lot of issues, right, down the road. It's from a cash flow perspective, especially. So more people that understand the cash flow and really get that, then the faster and more efficient than you could grow without all of these dips, right? I meet a ton of entrepreneurs. I've met hundreds of entrepreneurs who've had great businesses. They're profitable, they're growing, really fast, but they're like, listen, I don't have any cash right? And I can't take on any more work, right? So what do you do in that situation? Does that sound familiar to you? Okay, so there's two things, right? What type of business are you? Look at that, right? Are you B2B, right? Business to business? Are you B2C, business to consumer? So who are you selling directly to? And the challenge is the way that banks and non-bank lenders are looking at things. And that's what we do here at the Domino Effect, right? We're talking about how to make ourselves attractive in the eyes of the lenders, what the lenders and the credit issuers are looking at. If you're selling B2B, you can leverage things like receivables to get a line of credit against them. So if you're selling your products to other businesses, other companies, whatever that might be, right? You can leverage your receivables. If you have inventory, you can leverage that. If you have real estate, obviously, you can leverage that, or high value machinery. You can leverage those things to get an asset-based line of credit against it so you can grow. And then as you book more of the receivables, the line of credit can expand with it so that you constantly have access to cash. And then you can pay for the salary, the materials, whatever that is, that you're having an issue with now, right? Where you have to wait to get paid. If you do have receivables and inventory, then there's really great, non-bank lending resources out there that you can leverage. And then sometimes lenders, when you have assets, they still dive into your cash flow and your profitability. So if you have had some challenges, some of them can actually really look past it, right? We have really great relationships. That's the value of building relationships with, some of the lenders and the partners that we work with. Our partners have worked with them for over 15 years, and in doing so, they're able to build some really unique structuring depending on the type of financing that you need or you need. So let's say you're a business that's selling direct to consumer, right? It's a product or a service, right? You don't have any receivables, you don't have inventory, you don't have machinery, you don't have real estate. Then, there's also some really great lenders that'll look at things like your cash flow. Okay, so they want to understand the opportunity, though they might be able to even do a line of credit or a term loan just based on the cash flow and the growth of your business. And a lot of those lenders, they're very entrepreneurial. They want to talk with you. They want to understand your need. They want to understand your vision. They want to understand your need. So you could look at a term loan type of product just based on what's going on in your business in the current cash flow. There's also mezzanine debt lenders. So with these lenders, they're going to offer debt, but a lot of time there's equity. There's a lot of other mezzanine debt alternatives today, term loans, lines of credit that focus on cash flow that don't take equity. So there's really good alternatives that you want to consider before you move forward with those deals. But obviously, guys, what I mentioned earlier is private equity, right? There's obviously private equity and venture debt. If your business has a lot of cash flow and a lot of revenue and a lot of sales, then you can work with a non-bank lender and probably not even have to give up equity in your business. But with private equity and venture debt, what they're doing is they're taking equity, right? So a piece of the business. So you may be in a business that has maybe lower sales, lower revenue, but great idea, right? Great tech, great software, something that needs development where you're going to need a lot of money, right? A lot of money that you don't have right now to build the product, right? So in order to build out this system where you're not going to have revenue coming in for a long time. So that's where you want to look at a private equity or a venture deal. But if you have a business that has cash flow going on, you're doing sales, you probably don't even need the private equity right now. But if you've got cash flow and a growing business, then there's multiple debt options. And I know that we can bring a lot to the table. So a few tips though, before you go for this financing is make sure you have your financials in order. If you're going to go for a large amount of money, 7, 8 figures, okay, you're going to have to submit financials. Okay, there's no way around it. So make sure you have, all of that up-to-date financials together. Make sure you have your AR, right? Your accounts receivables, your debt schedule. You want to make sure that you're really doing a good job of managing that cash flow of your business. Make sure everything's getting deposited into your business bank account. I know that's a lot easier said than done, right? Get some help, reach out to your accountant. Get QuickBooks, you guys. It always makes sense to plan ahead, right? Because we're leveraging, we're leveraging the system, utilizing the system of preparation to leverage opportunity, right? So get all your financials done, make sure everything is in order, make sure you know that going into the conversation. And one other tip that I have, if you have any other loans in place, even if you took an SBA loan, prior, make sure that you're being upfront about that right away. Because I cannot tell you how many times things have popped up at the last minute that have stalled the client's ability to close. I know sometimes it can feel a little awkward answering some of these questions, but think about your vision and where you're trying to go. All right. And honestly, just get over that. You have to get over that and you have to develop some thick skin here and just be upfront and honest so that the process can move a lot smoother. You have to understand that when you're going to apply for these larger numbers, like 7, 8 figures, they are going to ask you questions. Okay. So, the larger the amount, the more questions, the longer it's going to take. So plan for it. Sometimes I see business owners get frustrated because they're like, why are they asking me these questions? But just remember that lenders and credit issuers, they actually want to extend the capital to you. They really want to extend it to you. Why? Because it benefits them as well. It's not just because they have great bleeding hearts. No, there's something in it for them as well. So if it makes sense, if there's an opportunity and they can get a return on investment, they want to lend you the money. So just keep that in mind when you're answering some of these questions and try not to get as frustrated, but also they understand where you're coming from. But also look at it from their perspective, right? They don't want to lose any money. So they want to make sure that the investment that they're going to make, which is you, they're going to be able to see a return on. So just make sure that you're prepared and ready to answer those questions. Make sure that you're prepared to go through that process, because a lot of times when you go through this process, they're also paying attention to how quickly it takes you to get these things. So pay attention. And then also some of these offers expire, guys. When the lender is extending an offer, if you wait too long, over a month to get back, that offer can expire. So make sure that, you're staying on top of everything prior to applying. Make sure that you understand, make sure everything is cleaned up, and if you don't know where you're at, then make sure you're scheduling your funding planning session and getting with our team, getting with an advisor so we can walk you through the steps necessary to get to where you're trying to go, right? Your vision, where are you trying to get to? So if you found this video helpful, then go ahead and like and subscribe, right? My company, Domino Effects Group, we're helping drive 1 billion into communities. Okay, our partners have already funded over 5 billion. Guys, if you have any more questions, if I missed something, please reach out, ask your questions, leave a comment, because that is how we grow, through collaboration. Collaboration is key, but also asking questions, staying prepared so that you can leverage the opportunity that's going to come your way. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.